welcome to In Camera. Today we're with a person who defines herself as
wobbly.
Francesca Martinez, stand-up comedian, film star, an author, and an activist, disabled activist. Francesca, I don't know whether you realise it or not, but from all the people I talked about you, every single one said, "Is she Gibraltarian?"
Because of my name.
Yes.
Well, my dad is Spanish, so that's where Martinez comes from. And my grandfather was from Andalusia, and my grandma was from Barcelona. So I have a very strong Spanish influence, and I love Spain.
And you don't talk Spanish?
I do, yeah, not perfectly. Pero hablo español, sí.
¿Habla español?
Sí.
Okay.
No perfecto, pero me gusta hablar.
Right. As well, from the research I've gathered, you're a bit of a troublemaker.
Am I?
You were. From what I gathered, you've eaten red berries behind a bush at risk.
I know, I don't know what to say. Yeah, I was quite a naughty child. I was drawn to things you weren't meant to do, and I was very much a tomboy. And I also had no concept of being disabled. So I would play football, I'd climb trees and get stuck up them. And I really loved living life to the full. And I never wanted to grow up, and I haven't.
So
it's great.
You're not telling me that you were a perfect daughter, right?
Oh well, what's a perfect daughter?
Well, who knows? You know what I mean?
Who knows?
From what I gather is other activities which you did do when you were young was what we call in Gibraltar is knock ginger.
Knock ginger.
One of my favourite. Fall down, don't you? You say knock fall down.
We say knock down ginger.
Knock down. Here's knock ginger.
Oh right, it's universal, isn't it? Yeah. Annoying your neighbours by ringing their bell. Yeah, that was one of my favourite games. It shows the level of my delusion that I forgot I couldn't run away. Forgot about that small little fact. But yeah, I enjoyed partaking in that game on a regular basis. And
you got caught once?
I did get caught once, yeah.
By a copper?
Yeah, and I never played the game again. I write about it in my book. It was a big moment. It was the one thing that reminded me, oh, you can't run. Remember, you can't run. And so I've remembered it since then.
Is there any anecdotes which you did when you were young, which you're not supposed to know? Sure there is.
I hated learning at school.
That's where I was going.
I love playing, I love boys, I love kissing boys and flirting with boys. I didn't want any of the education rubbish. So my worst lesson was maths. Every time we were told that maths would be next, I would moan. It was my first act of protest, protesting. Why do we have to do maths? Isn't that what calculators are for?
Well, from what I gather, you went to school to have fun. That's what school meant for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I sometimes think that modern schooling tries to knock the childhood joy and innocence out of kids.
Yeah.
I think in a way academic subjects happen too early. I think we need to just let kids play and explore more. Because I was learning loads at that time, but I don't believe that learning just has to be academic subject. So I was just so interested in playing and flirting and, being naughty.
Playing football?
Playing football.
Well, they told you if you wanted to play football, wasn't it?
Well, I attempted to play football, and I was actually quite good for a wobbly girl who couldn't run fast.
Talking about football, I read somewhere in an article, I believe it was a football manager, who says the way we are, who have disabilities, is due to our karma.
Yeah, That was a quote from the ex-England manager Glenn Hoddle, and he said that actually on the day I wrote my first ever routine. So when he said this, I said, thank you for being a twat, because it gave me a routine. And I wrote a piece about, God, what the hell must I have done?
Yeah.
You know, I must have been an axe murderer or something. And so it was quite an important moment for me, because it was the first thing that I turned into humour. I just thought it was such a silly comment.
Well, that could be the catalyst for what you're at today.
I think it was. I'm very grateful to him for saying
Back in the
that.
back to this guy.
Yeah.
Another point was we're talking about the school. Being bullied, being rejected. I'm sure it happens to all, say, the child. One can say it's one of these events which you cannot remove. It goes far and wide. If you're a kid, you know how kids are.
Yeah.
Were you bullied a lot once in school?
Well, I wasn't up till teenage years. I think younger kids are very accepting. They don't really care. They just say, oh, what's wrong with your leg? You tell them and they go, okay, do you want to play hide and seek? And that's it.
Yeah.
Whereas older children, I think, maybe take on the prejudice of the adult world more. And there's huge pressures on teenage kids to conform. And I almost think it's society's kind of machinery of making citizens conform to certain standards. So school's almost a process of like de-individualization. So they knock out all the kind of spirit and the individual traits, and they try and turn you into a good, well-behaved citizen. That's my take on it anyway.
A lot of parents who I know debate within themselves where they see the sense of having a disabled child within a classroom. Obviously they've got classroom aid.
Yeah.
But isn't this sort of like a distraction for the other pupils within the class?
Well, I actually think growing up with all kinds of ability is a way to an inclusive society, because I think if you segregate children on the basis of ability, you're not allowing either group to accept each other or deal with each other. So I'm a big believer that the way to equality is that all kids of all abilities grow up side by side, because then we won't have so many fears of the adult world, because people will just go, it's normal to grow up with a kid in a wheelchair, or someone blind, or someone deaf, or someone wobbly, and they all seem like an accepted part of life.
Sure.
So I'm a big believer that diversity actually enhances life for everyone, because I think it teaches people different things as well. And I think if kids grew up with people of different ability, that would enhance their understanding of life and humanity. And maybe if they encountered disability later on in their life or became disabled, maybe it would be less of a terrifying thing, because it would be something which was present in their life already.
Yeah. So really, inclusion, yes.
Yes.
Segregation, no.
No, I think separating kids on ability is as bad as separating them on race.
True.
I think it's awful.
And the thing is where I'm going with this is adults have a perception about those who have a disability, and where kids don't. You and I know that kids, they say it as it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had experiences where kids have told me, how do you go to the toilet? How do you do your business?
Yeah.
I'm sure that
they're
case,
open. They're just honest.
Yeah.
You get it out of the way and it's gone.
And yet, parents, you see parents like when I was down the street.
Don't say that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Don't touch that. You know what I mean? And they're asking questions.
I know. Yeah, I think it's really sad that we have a culture where adults fear difference and clam up and have all these crazy preconceptions because they're too scared to actually relate as human beings. It's not rocket science. I just think, disabled people are just people. And if you want to know how to treat a disabled person, just imagine if it was you. That's it. I really think it's simple. And part of me can't believe that humanity has been so slow on it.
Well, on a lighter note, from what I gather as well, a child asks you if you have sex, and you said, well, I'm not on Wessex, was it?
Essex,
Essex.
One of the questions at school was always, can you have sex? Can you have sex? I was like, I'm only 11. But there's a lot of kind of preconceptions when people label you disabled, that you can't work, you can't have relationships.
Yeah.
And all of these have no basis in reality. And I think they come from a world which is obsessed with defining people by what they can't do. Because I don't see disabled people as any different. I think we all have things we can and can't do, and you and I are no different. We just have certain things we can't do, but we can do other things. And I think these labels are really unhelpful and create a lot of fear in the world.
Yeah, well, I remember as you were saying that, what came to my thought is we have a disability, but many other abilities. It's like having a TV channel, TV set with 1,000 channels, and one of them doesn't work. But like, for instance, maybe BBC doesn't work.
Yeah.
Who gives a heck?
I know, and
you got a
yeah, totally. And what I hate about the label disabled is it's defining you by what you can't do, and yet no one wants to focus on what they can't do. And I think we should be, equal about us and define everyone by what they can't do. So we should start saying, this is John, he can't dance. And everywhere he goes, people say, you can't dance, that's terrible. I mean, I think, no one in the world would like to be defined by what they can't do. That's why I have adopted the word wobbly, because it's non-judgmental and it's not defining me by what I can't do.
You do drive?
I do, yeah.
And you had issues?
Huh?
You've had issues about driving?
Yeah, I thought I couldn't drive for ages. It took me 100 lessons, but I got there in the end.
And somebody told you, don't drive.
Don't drink and drive. Yeah, I've been told not to drink and drive a lot. People think I look drunk. Apparently I'm the perfect drunk woman. And the irony is I don't drink. I don't like alcohol. So that's quite funny being told you've had enough love. And I haven't had any.
Another point which I love is you had a boyfriend. Sorry to touch that point, but you call him an arsehole. What's that story about you calling a boyfriend an arsehole?
Well,
when you look at it, you did give some good advice.
No, this guy, I mean, he changed my entire life, and actually he's the core of my show and my book, because what he did is he shifted my entire perception of myself and the whole world. And he made me realise that nobody is normal. And that realisation kind of set me free, because I stopped feeling like an abnormal, faulty product. And I started seeing myself as Francesca. And of course I fell madly in love with him. I call him an arsehole because it didn't work out, and in some ways he was. But I still love him deeply for what he gave me, because his ideas set me free. And I think ideas can liberate you, and that's why I wanted to write my book, because I love the fact that ideas can change your whole life. So something so abstract can actually transform your experience of everything.
Full of meaning as well.
Yeah, and it did, you know, I did nothing real change. I didn't become less wobbly, but this guy made me realise that instead of fighting it, I should say, it's me, and this is perfectly normal for Francesca. Francesca is wobbly. And he made me stop judging myself. So he made me stop thinking I walk badly, and he was like, you walk the way you walk, and it's not bad, it's Francesca. And that was incredible, because he made me appreciate who I was for the first time in a lot of years, and he gave me back my self-esteem, and he gave me back the power of choosing to view myself in whatever way I wanted. Because I'd given that away, and I've just taken on society's definition of me. And that's very disempowering, because I think we live in a world where there's so much pressure to be a certain way, to look a certain way, and the values are very superficial. And I think a lot of people, young, able-bodied people, are suffering every day because they don't feel good enough. And I wanted to write a book to remind people that they are good enough, and you get one life and one body, and you should bloody appreciate your body.
So we were talking before, all that aids your parents.
Yeah.
Without your parents' love and affection,
Yes.
and they've been on top of you.
Yeah, they were
Pest.
great.
I mean, parents can be a bit of a pest sometimes. But
I
they
was very
cherish you
lucky.
with a lot of love, though.
Yeah, and I think that's been more of a defining factor in my life than being wobbly. I really think that it doesn't matter if you have a physical disability. I think if you're loved, you can get through anything. And I think the worst disabilities are created by not getting enough love. And you can have the most perfect body in the whole world and be absolutely crippled with insecurities. So I think being a bit wobbly is a lot easier to deal with than not being given the right care and love.
Besides one of their proudest moments of having a car park space for them is his disability. I'm sure they must have been proud when you went to Grange Hill.
I think they were. I think they were very happy because they knew that my childhood dream was to act. So of course when it came true in this amazing way, I think they were really pleased to see me come out of my school environment, which was quite negative, and see me kind of just start to enjoy life again and to flourish. And it was like the beginning of me as a performer and believing that I could do it.
Besides Grange Hill, they've got other things to be proud of you. I think you won an award in Edinburgh. Was it the Mike Award or something?
I did, yeah. I won an award a year after starting my comedy. I found myself in Edinburgh winning an award for Best New Comic. And my parents were in the audience, and I think, you know, I've always loved talking, so I think they thought it was the perfect job for me.
Well, your dad was a writer and he was doing a script for you?
My dad was the one who got me into comedy, because he wrote me a part where he made my character a comedian. And I thought I could never do that, and he thought I could. So when I won the award, he said to me, I told you. So yeah, I owe him my entire career.
So you've had a lot of triggers or mechanisms which push you to do or to be a stand-up comedian.
Yes.
Your parents, the manager of the football team.
Yeah.
I was going to say arsehole, but I won't say it. But him.
Yeah.
So Really?
Yeah, a lot of things conspired to
Yes, that's what I'm trying
help
to
me
get at.
find comedy, and I'm so grateful because comedy changed my life. It taught me to be happy with who I am, because
Right.
it's very hard to be on stage and not have some level of self-acceptance because you're so vulnerable at that. And it taught me not to care about what other people thought of me, which is a fundamental life lesson. And it's also such a lovely job because you're making people laugh and you're making them happy. So I feel very lucky that I can go around the world and make people laugh and think a bit too.
Last year, 54 destinations on your tour.
Yeah.
This year, how many?
Well, this year I'm touring a lot less because I've just written a book. So I'm really bad at multitasking. I can't multitask. So I had to clear my diary, write the book, and then we've been doing a lot of book-related stuff like festivals and interviews. But next year I'll go back and do more shows.
You came, I believe there was something on Monday?
Yeah, I organised a benefit at a big London venue called Stand Up Against Austerity.
The Apollo?
At the Apollo with a whole lineup of great events because we have real austerity measures coming into Britain right now, and it's affecting so many people in so many awful ways. We have disabled people dying from the cuts. We have nearly 1 million people using food banks. Poverty is soaring. So I've been involved in trying to challenge the government rhetoric that we need austerity. Because I don't think the problem is money. I think the problem is where the money is being spent.
Talking about disability issues, again from research, you started a petition.
Yes.
Is it WOW petition?
WOW petition.
The WOW petition.
War on Welfare.
That was 2 years ago?
That was last year, we got 100,000 signatures, and so we got a parliamentary debate, and it's being moved forward. We have really great Labour MPs who have taken up the cause, and the kind of key aim of that is to challenge the current welfare reform. It's called reform, it's cuts, because people are dying from the cuts. We have a work capability assessment which is unfit for purpose. The British Medical Association agrees it's unfit for purpose, and we want to fight for a system that is fair and that treats people with dignity and respect. But right now, severely disabled people and really ill people are being forced to go through these tests and being forced to go to work. I think that if you have cancer now and you have more than 6 months to live, you're judged to be fit to work. So we have this awful culture creeping in where we no longer think it's right to support people in their time of need. We're making them beg for their basic rights.
Did that move on to another association or something which you did called the People's
Assembly?
Assembly, that's right.
That's a movement against austerity, and that's a growing national movement, and that's more generally fighting against all the cuts. But our petition was specifically on the disability cuts.
I saw a programme which is very touching. Hate crime, I believe.
Disability hate crime. Yeah.
It's that story about a girl called Emma.
Yes.
Who actually was even recorded with CCTV cameras. I also heard, I heard about the statistics that government were issuing. There were, I think it was 50,000 people affected by hate crimes.
Yeah,
in fact,
I think
there's 100,000 people.
Yeah.
I mean, at the moment, where do you think the statistics lie on hate crimes?
Well, I think the government rhetoric, which is presenting disabled people as scroungers, as burdens on the state, I think that's got a huge amount to do with the decline in public perception, because there's been such a strong media presence over the past few years with stories that disabled people are just work shy and they're just, they've got it lucky and they're just sucking up all the money, they're like financial black holes. And I think that's resulting in a real hardening of attitudes towards disabled people in general, and that's seen a huge rise in the hate crime statistics, so it's something that we've really got to fight.
And it's still on the increase.
Yes.
So we don't have a long way to do within giving awareness up.
Yeah, I think politically this time in Britain at the moment is so focused on like economic and it's kind of austerity is ruining communities and families and health, that I think there's been a real culture shift, and things like welfare are deemed really unimportant, but I think they're what makes a country civilised.
Over 1 million assessment people, whether or not they have a disability, I mean, one who had a disability would not change his disability if he's got a long life disability.
Yeah,
the government was spending £1 million in that sort of project to do some research.
I know, like I was awarded disability living allowance for life because I'm always going to be wobbly. But now they've changed it, so I'll be reassessed every few years, which is just crazy. They're going to waste so much money coming to our house and saying, "Oh, you're still wobbly, yeah." Well, if something is lifelong, it means it's with you for life, and that's why awards were given for life. But now they've taken that away because I think they want to push. Well, the government have said they want to push 500,000 disabled people off DLA.
Let's talk just briefly about your book. Good reviews.
Thank you.
Yes, good, top reviews. It touches your life. It puts disability awareness in a different light than other campaigners actually do. What I would like to know, how long did it take to do?
I wrote it quite quickly.
You did?
I had a very tight deadline. So I started in August and finished in January. And then I had some rewrites. But I was very lucky because it came out. I think it was a book that had been in my head for a long, long, long time. So when I started writing, it flowed out and I couldn't stop. It was a really enjoyable process.
A book for everybody?
Yeah, I see it as a book for everybody because it's about learning to love who you are and to realise that you don't have to buy into society's superficial, unhealthy value system which tells you all the time you're not good enough. Because that just is there so consumerism will work. So you'll go out and buy things you don't need. But it's a big lie. Happiness and confidence don't come from buying a new phone or a new car. It comes from appreciating what you have and realising how wonderful life is and how short it is. So we shouldn't waste any minute of our life worrying about trivial crap.
So it's what the 4 stars is normal.
Yes.
We all know what the 4 stars is about.
Yes.
And I can say it's not shit. But what the 4 shit is about is actually, let's say the word fuck.
Yes.
What the fuck is normal?
Yeah, because what the fuck is normal? We're told from so many quarters, oh, this is normal, that's normal. I've never met anyone normal, and you know what's normal? Diversity is normal. So I want to create a wobbly revolution where everyone just realises that this culture is abnormal, and in fact, it's very hard to be happy if you embrace their values. So I urge everyone to dump all that crap and make up your own values and enjoy being a human being.
Right. What we can say is that, once again, it's the book for everybody. I don't know about the age. Is there an age in it? There isn't.
No, I get a lot of teenagers reading it. And I think they're at the age where, you know, they're deciding who they want to be. And so I think teenagers can read it, and my 88-year-old granddad read it too.
Oh God. So we're going to have to leave it there. Yeah. I'm really, really happy to thank you for allowing us to have this little interview. And if I could bow, I would, but I'm afraid I might hit up the floor. You know what I mean?
Don't bow, because
I'm a bit wobbly at the top as well.
I don't believe in all that royalty shit.
They say
we're all equal. No one needs to bow to anyone.
Yeah, I know you don't. You're very humble, and you don't wish anybody gives you the
even though
we are. But I mean,
we are sitting aboard my yacht, aren't we?
But you've earned it. You've earned it.
Thank you.
I wish you all the best and success.
Well, thanks for having me. It's been really great to meet you as well.
And if you need an activist, call me. I'll be right next to you.
I will. We always need activists.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.